Welcome, students. Indian says Kanad 1000 years back had proposed that Parmanu, that is atom, is an indivisible particle of matter, and adherents of his school of philosophy considered the atom eternal and indestructible. The concept of the atom has its origin in Greek philosophy and propagated by the likes of Democritus and further English chemist John Dalton's theory. Democritus studied the nature and constituents of all the substances. In 1808, John Dalton put forward atomic theory to explain the laws of chemical combination. According to him, an atom is the smallest unit of matter which takes part in chemical reaction. He considered that atoms are indivisible particles. At the end of 18th century and early 20th century, modern concept of an atom developed by scientists like J.J. Thomson, Goldstein, Rutherford, Niels Bohr, and others. According to modern concept, atom consists of smaller particles or subparticles like electron, proton, and neutron. But they are further made up of particles which are called quarks. Scientists have wondered what is the shape of atom. How are the constituent particles placed inside the atom? We will look into the historical development and experiments which have helped us understand the basic building block of matter around us. In this chapter, we will also study about the atomic models, quantum mechanical model of atoms, feeling of electrons in the orbitals, and electronic configurations of atom. In 1879, William Crookes studied that gases are generally poor conductors of electricity. When a high voltage charge from an induction coil is applied to tubes filled with gases at very low pressure, 0.01 mm of mercury, the gases become good conductor of electricity and electricity starts to flow in the form of rays. These rays are called cathode rays. Since these rays originate from the negative plate, that is cathode, and travel from the cathode towards the anode. Later, J.J. Thomson studied the characteristics and constituents of cathode rays in detail, which led to the discovery of electron in 1897. For this purpose, he took a cylindrical hard glass tube called Descha's tube, about 60 centimeter long, sealed at both ends. It is filled with two metal electrodes. The tube is connected to a side tube through which it can be evacuated to any desired pressure with the help of a vacuum pump. The discharge tube is filled with the gas under study and the two electrodes are connected to a source of high voltage. He observed that when a current of very high voltage, that is 10,000 volt, was passed through the discharge tube at normal pressure, no current flows between the electrodes. This is because the gases are poor conductor of electricity. When the pressure of gas is reduced to 10 to the power minus 2 atmosphere, the current starts flowing between the electrodes and colored glow is observed. The color depending upon the nature of the gas taken. And when the pressure is further reduced to 10 to the power minus 4, the glow between the electrodes disappears, but the current continues to flow from the negative electrode to positive electrode. These were called cathode rays. The flow of current from cathode to anode was further checked by making a hole in the anode and coating the tube behind anode with zinc sulfide. When these rays, after passing through anode, strike the zinc sulfide coating, a bright spot on the coating is developed. Students, same thing happens in the television screen. J. Thomson found that cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles called electrons. And the cathode rays were deflected towards positive plate. This deflection from straight line motion is due to electromagnetic force. This suggests that cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles. This helped him to find charge by mass ratio of the particle that we will study in the next slide. From the various experiments carried out by J. Thomson and others, the cathode rays have been found to possess the following characteristics. J. Thomson and others carried out many experiments on the cathode rays, after which they arrived at these conclusions. He observed that when an electric field was applied in the path of cathode rays, the rays bent toward the positively charged plate. This shows that they consist of negatively charged particles. Similarly, when the magnetic field is applied in the path of cathode rays, the rays bend towards the north pole. From the study of above properties, he observed two important points: that cathode rays are made up of material particles and they carry negative charge. When a light paddle wheel was placed in the path of these rays, the wheel began to rotate. This shows that cathode rays are made up of material particles. And when he placed a solid object in the path of cathode rays, a shadow of object was formed on the wall opposite to the cathode. This shows that cathode rays travel in a straight line. J. Thomson determined the ratio of electrical charge to mass of electron by using CRT and applying electrical and magnetic field perpendicular to each other as well as to the path of electrons. According to Thomson, the amount of deviation of the particles from their path in the presence of electrical and magnetic field depends upon the magnitude of the negative charge on the particle. Greater the magnitude of the charge on the particle, greater is the interactions with the electric or magnetic field, and thus greater is the deflection. Mass of the particle. If the particle is lighter, it will be deflected more. Then the strength of the electrical or magnetic field. The deflection of electrons from its original path increases with the increase in the voltage across the electrodes or the strength of magnetic field. And the value of E by m or charge by mass was found to be minus 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg. In 1909, Milken measured the charge on an electron by his oil drop method. He allowed the oil drops to fall into a region between two oppositely charged parallel plates. The plates were connected in such a way that the magnitude of the electric field and the electrostatic force on the droplets could be adjusted. By adjusting the electric force to balance the downward gravitational force, Milken could bring a charged drop of oil to rest in the region between the plates. This is gravitational force and electrostatic force, and this is oil droplets, and this is charged plate. As I discussed earlier, he repeated his experiment many times, balancing a drop, measuring the voltage, letting the drop fall and measuring its final speed. When he analyzed the data, he discovered the hypothesized pattern. The values of the charges he measured were whole numbers multiples of some smallest value. Milken concluded that this charge value equaled the elementary charge of the electron. And the current expected value of the elementary charge is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. The mass of the electron was determined by this formula. Me, this is the mass of electron, is equal to E divided by E by Me. And when you will study electrostatic in class 12, or if you know the electrostatic force, gravitational force, try to find out mathematical expression of charge of electron using simple calculation. And mass of electron can be calculated from the values of E by M and charge E. We know that the charge divided by mass of electron is equal to minus 1.76 into 10 to the power minus 11 coulomb per kg. And charge of the electron is equal to minus 1.60 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. In this way, it was found that the mass of electron is equal to 9.1094 into 10 to the power minus 31 kilogram. The mass of electron is much smaller than the mass of an atom of hydrogen. And the mass of electron is so small that it is considered to be negligible. Thus, an electron may be defined as a subatomic particle which carries 1 unit negative charge minus 1.60 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb and has a mass 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kilogram, equal to 1 by 1/837 of that of hydrogen. Thank you. In next video, we will discuss about the atomic models.